Welcome to As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome back to the podcast Joseph Grillo, frontman for Her Head's on Fire. Her Head's on Fire will release Am I Not Your Girl this Friday on Iodine Recordings. Joseph talks about the unlikelihood of new music from Garrison, the writing machine that is Her Head's on Fire, wanting music to be someone's soundtrack, the title and art inspiration, and more. Her Head's on Fire is one of those bands that I absolutely adore. Every record they released so far has been phenomenal. I cannot wait for my vinyl of the new record to come in to play it on my sound system the way it's meant to be listened to. And if you haven't checked out this band yet, make sure you hit up their Bandcamp page, Spotify, YouTube, however you listen to music, and check out Her Head's on Fire. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of As the Story Grows. If you're brand new to the podcast, welcome. You can find links in our show notes or at asthestorygrows.com for our mailing list, our Discord server, and our Patreon page. If you aren't yet subscribed, I would love it if you subscribe to the podcast on your podcast platform of choice. It has been a while since someone has left a comment on any platform. I would love to read your comments live on the podcast. So if you like an episode, have something to say, leave a comment. I will read it. Enjoy today's conversation with Joseph from Her Head's on Fire.
Well, thank you for rescheduling. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. When I talked to Travis from Piebald, we were supposed to talk, and we were supposed to talk. Somebody called and were like, "Hey, we're outside with your new dishwasher delivery," and I was like, "Well, fuck, okay, fine."
We had it years ago. My old bandmate from Garrison, Ed, and I used to he ran a place in Worcester called The Space, and we would book shows. And we were always in awe of all the Chicago, Louisville touch and go stuff. And somehow we got the number for Electric Audio. And we're like, let's try and see if we can get Shellac to play. And we call and Steve picks up the phone. And we're just like, holy shit. He's just like, yep, it's Steve. And we're like, cool. We want to know. He's like, yeah, I'm going to have to call you back. I have a wasp problem. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, there's a wasp's nest in front of my backyard, and I got to fix it. And I was just like, okay. And it was the most surreal conversation I've had with this sort of hero of mine.
That's so funny. Yeah. Oh man, it's crazy. Well, that's kind of a good place to start. I wanted to ask about Garrison before we dove into the new Her Head's on Fire stuff. With Iodine reissuing the records and with the 2023 reunion shows you guys did, has there been conversation or an itch between any of the members for new material or more shows, or is it kind of that was a fun thing we got to do again?
The latter. Yeah. I think it's one of those things where we all I love all those guys, and I talk to Ed twice a week sometimes, just to sort of catch up on life. And it's really fun to talk music, but we're just kind of in different musical places. Yeah. And I wouldn't care to restrict his vision and vice versa. And I think that because Garrison was so precious to the both of us, because it was it was really the starting point of a lot of opportunities for us. It would be hard to revisit that and feel like we're doing it justice. Yeah. Not to say never, but it doesn't seem likely. But shows, if we get offered another show, yeah. I mean, if we can do it, if people can make their schedules work around it, why not? It's fun to celebrate something we did, in our early 20s.
Yeah, but your creative voices are just elsewhere, and yeah.
I mean, he loves he had a band after Garrison called Campaign for Real Time, and they were like the best party band you've ever heard in your life. It was just phenomenal. I highly recommend you check them out. I don't even know if it's available online, but it's just incredible music.
Nice.
But very different than Garrison.
Nice.
And very different than directions I went in as well.
back to the point where you wanna wait. I know.
Looking at Her Head's on Fire's discography, it's funny that like every other year around July there's a new record. Is that something that's been intentional, or is it just kind of happened that the release calendar with Iodine and your recording has worked out that way?
We're restricted by Iodine. We'd put out a record every year if we could, because we have. I mean, the next record's already like 80% written, LP4, and we have all these like we have at least 16 songs that are on B-sides or split singles or whatnot. This particular band, more than any band I've ever been in, is just a writing machine. It all comes from Jeff Dean, the guitar player. He's nonstop. I mean, we'll have just finished mixing, and in my mind, I'm like, I can chill. I can relax. And like 2 days later, it's like, hey, here's 2 more songs for you to do. I'm like, all right, man, I'll come up with vocals and give me a week.
Nice.
But yeah, so the output is crazy. And then it's also, it is somewhat strategic because I always think of our music, this band's music is very spring, summer oriented. Other bands I've done or other, there's certain like sounds like I love My Bloody Valentine, but I think of My Bloody Valentine as a winter band.
Yeah.
And I think of us as a spring summer band. So that's when I want people to listen to it with the windows rolled down because they're so happy that it's finally nice weather again. That to me is like the ideal place to hear the music that we make. And then we usually are going to, do some touring, maybe like a festival or two, and do a tour of the UK sometime in the late summer, early fall. So it's kind of geared around that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's when you guys released Strange Desires, I remember listening to that record and loving it, but being like, oh, the band has like risen sonically and like the palette is different and more mature. But it's fascinating to listen to the new record and listen to the discography as a whole and be like, I don't know what I heard in Strange Desires that first time, because it's like it's very consistent sonically and like it is Her Head's on Fire throughout. Like, is that just the combination of Jeff's writing and like a consistency you hope to have, or is it like, I don't know, is there moments where you're trying to challenge yourself for something musically?
That's a good question. I think that there isn't so much, it's not so much considered in that way.
Okay.
I think this band just sort of writes what it writes, and we're open to any direction somebody wants to go in. But we're also kind of working somewhat in the pop radio song format, the verse, chorus, bridge ish. You know what I mean? There'll be slight variations, but it's within that main sort of idea. Other projects, I love psych rock. I love prog. I love, really screamy stuff. I've had other bands that satisfy that itch.
Yeah.
But this band is sort of more focused on songcraft, I guess, if that makes sense. And so we'll push it, but maybe the directions that we're pushing it in may not be that noticeable to the average listener, but I notice it like, oh, wow, we put a lot more shaker on this record, or something like that,
Yeah. And I think there are differences, even like Chloroform Dream, right? Is very much like what punk rock in the chorus there. Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's very like get up and go. So yeah, there's definite different things happening, but it is very much Her Head's on Fire, like sonically throughout the discography, which is nice, like to put on a record and know like this band is going to deliver and kick ass every time, right?
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's the hope, right? I mean, like it's the hardest thing in the world is to have your own voice. And if somebody can hear one of our songs and recognize it as like, oh, I think I've heard that before. That's Her Head's on. Yeah. Like that's winning as far as I'm concerned. Like that you have a voice in the sea of sonic world. I mean, I think there's just so much music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the band exists in this, I don't know if it's even college rock anymore, but in that kind of indie rock, college rock universe, like, but being on a label like Iodine in the hardcore emo world, has it been difficult to find your audience, or are you finding people from different backgrounds are really like interested in what you're offering?
I don't know what my audience is.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. I mean, I almost feel like every band out there. This is the challenge of a band or a record label. Is every band there's tens of thousands of fans for. It's just finding them.
Yeah.
And so it's easier when you're on, like Jerome's Dream, for example. Okay, so if you like spazzy hardcore, you're gonna dig Jerome's Dream, and it's just like letting people know that. And so, the cues to doing that are playing shows with like-minded band. They play a show with Seisha. Everyone's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's perfect. It's synergy. With a band like us, I don't know. I mean, I'm too involved probably to make the right decision. Are we more the college rock, not a surf kind of thing? Or are we more like the post-hardcore Garrison thing, that we used to do? I'm not really sure. I'm probably the wrong person to ask. So maybe on a different label, we'd find a different audience, but I'm quite happy with the audience we found on Iodine.
Yeah. I'm just curious because I don't know. I listen to hundreds of records a year, and so I like fucking everything. So.
Me too. Yeah, you should. I mean, I love it. The thing I like about other genres of music, I don't actually listen to that much guitar rock because it's hard for me to listen to it and not deconstruct it. Whereas psych rock or electronic stuff, like I just kind of actually let it wash over me. A lot of ambient stuff I adore, just because when I'm listening to anything that's in the sort of punk rock, indie rock, guitar rock world, I'm going like, ooh, interesting choice. Okay, they did that there. Okay, and sometimes it's fun to just actually enjoy music and not think about it,
Yeah.
And obviously, I assume that you're a drummer.
I do play drums, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yep. This new album's called Am I Not Your Girl? There's this wonderful quote in the press release. You said maybe this record's on the background while people have a beautiful conversation, fall in love, navigate a brutal moment. Like, I like that concept because there's songs and albums that resonate with me for various reasons, right? It was in a movie trailer while I was on a date or whatever. Like, what kind of led to that, I don't know, epiphany when you were writing this record or thinking about this album?
I remember years ago, I was at a little bar in Nottingham in the UK called the Old Angel. And it was like a punk rock bar where a lot of bands had played. And Garrison was on the jukebox. It was like a CD jukebox. And that to me was success. Because somebody played it on a night when things were going on in that bar. And I wasn't there. You know what I mean? And my music was the soundtrack to maybe a great time or a breakup or I don't know. But it was there, and to me, that's such an honor, and to me that was like the full idea of success. So I think about that, if how I want, however anybody wants to listen to music is how they want to listen to music. But to me, the sort of the barometer of success is being on in the background on the radio. Maybe sometimes people focus and pay attention and sing along. Maybe they just bop their head, or maybe it's just noise. And I'm fine with all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fascinating thing to think about because I think there seems to be of an older generation a shift to music as intentional listening and not just the Spotify TikTokification of everything of just background music, but it's music that happens in the background can be just as important and meaningful to your life.
It can always be both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My favorite records Miles Davis Kind of Blue or T-Rex Electric Warrior. They are phenomenal if you're not paying attention, and they're phenomenal if you are.
Yeah,
and and that's so great. You know what I mean? I think to be able to achieve that is definitely a goal of mine.
What was the inspiration for the title of this album?
I just wanted to pay homage to Sinead O'Connor's album of cover songs, also called "Am I Not Your Girl," because her performance of the Evita song "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so I was just thinking about song titles and looking at the artwork that I sort of settled on, and I was like, that came up to me, and I was just like, yeah, I like that. I've always liked that title, so I stole it.
Nice. Yeah, Joy Judson did this painting. What was the inspiration? Did you just kind of give her the album and let her go? And
I'm a big fan of Nan Golden's work or photography work from the 70s and 80s. A lot about the LGBTQ plus community in New York and San Francisco, and I can't afford her photos, so I contacted Joy because I wanted something illustrated, and I gave her a photograph that resonated with me, and I said, "Can you run with this? Just like keep the colors and the basic forms of like perspective, but do what you want, and she did just a phenomenal job. And I think that's my approach now to all art is just work with people you trust and let them do their thing. And when I was younger, I wanted control over everything, and I wanted like to dictate, this is the vision I have in my head, it should be exactly like this. And I'm like, actually, this is a collaborative process, and I want you to do whatever you're going to do, and I can be a sounding board for it, but you're better at this than I am, and I need to trust that and let go. Because I'm not a visual artist. I have ideas, but I do not draw, I do not photograph. Therefore, allowing someone like Joy, who is such a phenomenal talent, to apply her talent is an honor. Yeah.
With this being the third Her Head's on Fire record, how, if at all, have you seen your lyrical approach to the band evolve?
I think this one is slightly more positive in some ways, or hopeful. The idea is that, I don't know if this is mentioned in the press release, but like, I always feel that like, if there's a wave of tanks coming at you and all you have is a brick, you still throw the brick. Yeah. You don't not throw the brick. And as overwhelming and brutal as the world is, we still reach out for a sense of community and belonging and understanding and compassion. And I think that's kind of what I'm going for. I don't really know, to be honest with you, lyrics. I can't sort of like look at them objectively until maybe a decade from now. So assuming I'm alive a decade from now, I'll be able to tell you more about the lyrical content of this record. But yeah, I'm still sort of figuring out lyrics that I wrote a long time ago.
Nice. Gotcha. Yeah. One of the other things you've done as a band the last 2 Decembers has released shoegaze cover songs of shoegaze songs. For Sandy Hook, what was the inspiration for that idea?
I always loved the idea of bands doing like holiday singles. And it's always been quite charming to me. And we have another one ready to go for this coming holiday season. And I think, the school shootings and gun massacres are so unbelievably fucking preventable. And it's just, there's no end to the well of my embarrassment about this nation of ours. And that's one of them. And so I, obviously seeing, being close enough in the New England, New York area, seeing Sandy Hook, was devastating. And so trying to reach out and do a little bit that we can for the holidays is good. Again, that sense of community. We are all on this together, even though people don't realize it. We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Album's out July 17th. What's the plan for any shows surrounding the release of this album or touring?
Yeah. We're going down to Fest. We're playing Fest in Florida, in Gainesville. We're also doing like a Foo Fighters cover set. We're doing like the first songs from the first 2 records, which will be a hoot. And then we got a 2-week tour of the UK in November. And then we do random shows, because I'm in New York, the rest of the band's in Chicago. So if, hey, Mercedes says, hey, you guys want to play with us in Milwaukee? We're like, yeah, cool. And then we do that and tack on like a Chicago show or something like that. So we do random stuff like that, but that's not like, I don't consider long weekends touring. So that's not a proper tour.
Gotcha.
No offense to the weekend warriors out there. We all need weekend warriors. I am a weekend warrior sometimes, but it's not a tour. I think the thing to touch upon something I said earlier, I think the thing about collaborating with people and trusting people means that I can really enjoy the work and be less critical. So people, somebody comes up to me and they'll say like, I really like that record. I'm like, yeah, me too. Because I don't feel like I made it. I was a piece, in the production of it, but it's not my record. It's like this group of people that came together and made, and that goes for the record label and the people that package it and the people that mail it and everybody at Iodine. It's like this is all of our work. And so when people are like, I dig it, I'm like, yeah, me too, I think it rocks. And that only really comes in my mind through collaboration. If I think in the past being more controlling over things, I would be like, oh, I don't know, but now I'm like, yeah, it's great.
No, I mean, Iodine's a label that I trust implicitly when they put something out, and now I have 2 Her Heads on Fire's records that were incredible. So when the third one comes, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be fucking great. Like, let's go. Like you just know it. Like the band kicks ass. So
oh, thanks, man. Thanks. It's awesome. Like those guys, I've always played with people that are better than me. It's just that's the way I learn. And I want to continue to learn. So the players are just so fucking awesome that I am enamored with it. And I can throw on a record and enjoy it so much because I can listen to just the guitar or just the drums or just the bass and be in heaven. So I'm glad you dig it too, man. Great.